Okay, the last time our item on our report is item number 10. At the last board meeting, the board asked staff to contact various public officials to put them on notice of the need for assistance if the winter oyster harvesting season continues to be poor. On Thursday, September 11th, Mr. Nick Wiley, Executive Director of the FWC, was quoted in the Tallahassee Democrat saying that it was possible that the bay would be closed to oyster harvesting for up to 2 years if the bay cannot recover. I have spoken to other representatives at FWC and to Governor Scott's Chief Policy Advisor for Environmental Issues. At this time, there is no plan to close the bay. Mr. Wiley's comments were that closing the bay will have to be looked at if the current emergency oyster harvesting rules, which is 5 bags and a 4-day work week, are not effective in helping the bars recover. Mr. Jim Estes, the FWC, would like the board to know that FWC is aware of the poor conditions in the bay and is actively working with all parties to try and reach a consensus on what needs to be done. There is a smart group meeting, and the University of Florida is hosting this on a public meeting on October 1st from 1 to 4 at the Apalachicola Community Center for more discussion on this issue. And I know Mr. Shannon Hartsfield is outside right now. I don't know if he wanted to say something or not, but this has reached a great deal of concern to a lot of people, and that's why I brought it up this morning.
Okay. All right. You going to be going to the meeting, Alan?
Madam Chairman, I had not planned to go to the meeting, but I will.
Commissioner Massey, you go to those meetings, don't you? Mm-hmm. Be sure to report back to us in case some of us can't.
I'd like to attend too, so it needs to be advertised properly.
Yeah, we need to have it advertised properly.
And I would like to ask Alan to attend because I think, that's good information. We need to be involved in everything that's going on in the county.
Well, and I want to straighten out, somewhere along the way in the conveying the messages of this last meeting, it was said that this board supported full closure of this bay, and this board has never supported full closure or said otherwise at that last meeting. So somebody needs to get the facts straight before they go out there and start saying it.
Thank you. I appreciate you clarifying that.
I think all of us need to go to this meeting. I think everybody that sits at this board here needs to attend this oyster meeting and see what's going on. Instead of getting second, third-hand news, you'll get the first-hand news, and you'll know what's going on.
That's right.
It just needs to be properly advertised.
Right.
Okay, I will get up with a smart group or the University of Florida to make sure. I don't know what kind of notice they put out, but I know that it's a public meeting. I know they've done some. We'll get it out.
If they don't, then we can't attend. I got one item for Alan, please, Madam Chairman, or for the board.
Yeah, go ahead.
On item number 8, where it talks about the area contingency plan, what that amounts to is if it's not accurately pinpointed on a map, then we're not able to protect ourselves against oil spills. Certain areas in the bay is what the area contingency plan is. All these areas are designated that needs to be protected, whether it be with oil spill boom or what have you. I attended everyone previous to this, and I would like to attend if it's the pleasure of the board, on behalf of the board, attend this meeting so that I can tell exactly what's been updated and what's been deleted, and I have the knowledge to do that.
I make a motion for somebody to attend.
We have a motion on the floor for Commissioner Parrish to attend the Coast Guard meeting dealing with the area contingency plan. We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, seconded by Commissioner Lockley. Do we have any discussion?
Where's it going to be at?
I don't know.
It's going to be either go for Franklin County. I'll be honest with you. The notice that I got announcing the meeting didn't say where, but as soon as I find out, I'll tell Commissioner Parrish. But it's going to be either here or Gulf County.
Thank you, Alan.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried.
Shannon, did you want to say anything or not?
No, you was talking about the meeting for the first.
Yes.
Actually, we're calling for a meeting to put the agencies together and see who's doing what's going to be done about the Bay issue. Still, we're sitting in the same situation. It's worse than last year. Next year it's going to be even worse because what's getting caught right now is next year's crop. Well, next year comes. This $80 they're catching right now, they ain't gonna catch nothing. Our future is not looking bright. I don't know the answer, don't know the solution. So somebody's got to come up with something and start doing something. It's going to make a harsh decision. I truly believe, now I'm going to have an emergency meeting with the Seafood Work Association just to see, I'm going to call the Seafood Work Association to ask them to have the bay shut down. If I can get their support to do that, I'm going wide open to have it shut down. Because
Shannon,
if we
when's that
keep on
meeting
going the
going
way
to
we're
be?
going, we're destroying the bay.
When's that seafood workers meeting?
I'm going to call an emergency meeting. I'm going to wait this afternoon and find out when I can use this annex building, because I
Shannon,
can't.
what I said was no reflection on you.
No,
I
ma'am.
was saying we were quoted as to say.
No, ma'am. I'm going out on a limb right here. I'm going out on a limb. I'm saying it.
Yeah, but
I'm saying it with the phone calls I get, the guys I come up and talk with. I'm saying it.
Yeah.
I'm saying it.
And
Shannon Hartsfield's saying it. I'm going out on a limb.
But what I'm saying, I wanted to clear the record up as to what was said from the county commission side, and the county commission never said that. You know.
But you know, really, it's coming to a point. Y'all need to make a decision on that.
Well, we've got to have
I
information.
know that.
to be
I know
able
that.
to
And that's
do
what I've
that
been
on.
fighting for the last year. I've been fighting, trying to get some funding for the seafood workers.
We got it.
You know, I'm still dealing with. I'm trying to get all of it. Not. You know, I'm trying to compare this barge shelling that they just done to our hand shelling, because the industry can go a lot further with all of the money going in one pot instead of separated. We already see it's going to be somebody from Texas or Louisiana or somewhere like that
That's
that's going to be
right.
doing it. We see that. They don't care nothing about our bay. It's not going to be a local person with a barge that's going to get it. There's no way they're going to be low enough to get it. I already see that. But with that money, we can go and do a lot of good with our bay. But we still got an issue. The west end of our bay ain't doing nothing. You know, right here, mouth of the river, you got 2 bars. That's nothing. Okay, they're getting plenty of fresh water. According to the salinity is better in the miles than our east end of the bay. But yet, the east end of the bay is wanting to come back and survive. We got a lot of little oyster, a lot of spat. Not down here. We're not seeing it. It's not down here. There's something, there's an issue that needs to be addressed that's not getting addressed. UF still hasn't got their funding. They've been trying now, they're going over a year on trying to get their funding. They've been using the C grant and whatever little money they can come up to do what study they've got done, which is quite a bit, but still no answers. Still no answers. Nobody's trying to answer the question, what's wrong with our bay?
Yeah.
And
Let me ask Alan. Last meeting, we directed you to call the governor's office, and did you call the governor's office?
Yes, I did. I talked to
What
them.
was their response?
Their response was that I talked to Mr. Noah Valenstein. He's the Chief Policy Officer of Environmental Issues for the governor, and he said that they were certainly looking into options. I asked him about the situation that occurred in 1985 when the bay was closed, and that there was assistance available to seafood workers and other people. And we did the research. I spoke to Mr. Valenstein about that, as well as to Michael Lynch with DEO. And I didn't remember this because it happened right before I got here, but in 85 when the bay was closed, the reason there was assistance made available because it was a FEMA declaration, and therefore unemployment compensation was available through FEMA funds because of a natural disaster. They are not classifying this as a natural disaster right now, so therefore there's not going to be unemployment compensation available if the bay gets closed right now. That's a major problem for how we provide assistance to people.
Correct.
There's not. I don't have. A
But in the
solution right now.
meantime, but what's so bad though? In the meantime, the bay is suffering. I mean, we're looking in. You know, before they said in 5 years, I look for it to be 10 years for our bay to come back. The way we're going now, at the rate we're going.
Yeah,
I hope I'm wrong,
disagree
but
with
I'm
it.
just telling you what I'm seeing. I'm going out there, I'm looking, I'm seeing it, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Another issue, real quick, Shannon, as you're talking about the health of the bay, especially the west end. I got a phone call last week from some other county commissioners to the west of us that their bay's seeing some of the same issues that we're seeing. So I'm looking for correlation as to the kind of problems that they're having here, and they're supposed to be sending me a list of problems with their bay, correlating that with the problems that we're having with our bay, and we may have power in numbers when we get down to the bottom of this thing to kind of see exactly what's going on, because it's not just Apalachicola Bay.
No, it's not.
There's bays across from here to Pensacola.
Well, if you really want to branch out and look, Louisiana, Texas, the same situation.
I've heard that,
Alabama,
too.
same situation. We're dealing with the Gulf Coast oyster industry really having the same issues. You know, I mean, it's really a way wider, you know, than we think but yet there's no common denominator.
Well, and it's so many different parts. It's the flow of the river. It's, you know, over harvesting. It's all this other stuff.
Well,
And
you
when
know,
put it together.
I've always harped on the over-harvesting, but I've been educated a little bit, I guess you could say. When you pull up the trip tickets and look at the trip tickets was no bigger that year than it was any other year.
But that's what I said about the flows of the river. I said if they could move the Corps of Engineers authorization of the flow of the river down to the mouth of the river and do your water flow counts there, that would be a bigger difference there, because we all know where the fresh water's going to. It's shooting out right straight to the south. And a long time ago, you had that lateral flow in there that went east and west, and it kind of fed back and forth, and that's how the oysters were so good. But I'm just, you know, I don't know what to do, but I do know that we are going to have to be prepared to take care of the people. And in what manner, I don't know.
Because it's going to, I mean, that's just it, you know. Next year, there's going to be nothing. I mean, and all these guys is out there doing whatever they can right now, and a lot of them's ashamed themselves, but they're having to, you know, make something because they have no other option.
Yeah,
I mean, I get phone calls every day, when's the money going to get here? When's the money going to get here? I don't know when the money's going to get here, you know, and I'm really a little bit upset with some of the guys not coming in and doing the paperwork. I've only had about 25 people actually come in and start doing the paperwork to get, you know, to get certified to do the shelling. I'm really disappointed.
Why are more people not coming in?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know.
I've been telling everybody about it.
I do not know the answer to that.
I even gave them your telephone number.
8 but 21 days, is it Shannon, are we going to be able to shell this year?
Well, no, sir. I think.
I mean, if you have.
I'm going on a limb here, and I'm saying the money that we have is set for 62 days. But when I say that, we don't know exactly how many people is going to be shelling. So those 62 days can be done in 1 year. And I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know, I mean, get stretched out is not going to do anything. It's going to have to be done in 1 year, whatever money we can come up with. But if we can get that other 1.7 put in that same pot, y'all know how much further that'd go. Because we're having to purchase our own shell. I mean, I'm working with the Corps. We come up with what they're going to call the Florida spec shell. I don't mean to cow car. Am I stepping out of bounds?
No, that's correct.
And we're working with them to get something that we think that spat will grow to, and that we can tong. You know, it's not other than, you know, driveway material, the 57. You know, and they're on board with it. We got at least Kyle who's going, okay, we can do that. We're going to do experimental side as soon as they get everything set up. They got that. We've never been able to get the shell that's been through that third way of washing, so that's going to make a difference as well. And Tommy's we're going to take a side on Tommy's lease and go try it out. Make sure that we can that we can tong it, you know, and that we think it might work. But I mean, we're doing what we can as a seafood industry. I mean, you know, we can't do so much, you know. And then I had a couple people say, why Tommy's lease? Because Tommy owns that lease. We don't have to go to DAX and ask permission and go through all this BS, you know. So as soon as they get it set up and run their first truckload or two, we're going to go put it out, let it set for a week or two, and see what happens. And I feel like that it will work. I mean, because we have no choice. We're going to have to use it, you know. And until, you know, like I said, we prove that it'll work, we'll use it.
My thing is this. I know sooner or later you got to close. But in the meantime, I mean, you can't just close that bay without, people got to have some money. I mean, you close the bay, they're making a little money now. You close it with nothing, it's going to be trouble. They're going to have some money coming in to people. But they got to pay their light bill. They got to pay.
They're not paying it. They're not paying it. They're not making enough to pay any. They're barely making enough to buy groceries for the night. That's all they're doing right now is buying groceries for the night.
And what I'm saying is, if they can't do that.
Well, and not only the oysterman that works out there on the water, but your oyster processors, your oyster house processors. that they are struggling. Where they were getting, this time last year, they were getting 75 bags a day. They're getting what? Less than 5?
Not many.
You know, and that's
Not
what
many.
I'm saying. They cannot keep it up. Now, they've got the grant money coming down. I think October they're going to be able to apply for upgrading everything of your oyster producing houses and everything.
If the money's released in October.
But that's not going to happen, huh?
If the money's all this money's together. I mean,
Yeah.
it don't mean. I mean,
All this money,
you know.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They told Alan the other day, oh, the first part of October, they'll be able to apply for the grant. Well, the money, and I told y'all, we don't need to be looking for that money because it ain't coming down no time soon.
Shannon's been waiting on this for a while.
I know. But it's surely a thing, but
We tried the last meeting, spoke to them, told them needed some help, tried to get them some food here, some help to help pay the light bills, because, I mean, they were struggling.
well, that's the reason why I asked Senator Montford, did he sit as chairman on the Natural Resources Committee again, because he is a great deal of help on stuff that, had to do with Apalachicola Bay and the Apalachicola River and the area concerning it.
every day that FWC does their job and they check the boats, they write tickets. Okay, these guys they ain't paying their fine. They're going to spend whatever day they have to spend in jail. They can't pay the fine.
They can't pay the fine.
So what are they doing when they're sitting in jail?
A lot of them,
They getting fed, but their family ain't getting fed.
A lot of them's telling me, Shannon, that they got a coal board full of oysters, and some of them may be questionable. See the FWC officers out there, rather than take a chance with, they just throw the oysters back over. They said, we can't afford no ticket. We're
No.
not making nothing as it is.
The guys are just now taking advantage of the schooling. I mean, there's guys that are starting to come in and start doing their GED. They just now starting. They're seeing right now. They're not. My dad, for instance, my dad's a good oysterman. He made $219. You take his expense off of that, he might have made $150. And that's using him with a 4-stroke motor and only going to Camp Point, living right there in East Point. What about these guys driving back for the Appalachia? They're teaming up 2 and 3 at a time. I mean, they struggling, and this is just my opinion. It's not the Seafood Works Association opinion, but if the bay was shut down, I think they would find something to better themselves.
Well, see,
Because these guys are capable of doing a lot of things.
another problem is them policy holders, where the money hold up at, they getting a check. They getting paid every week, every 2 weeks, and they don't care. I mean, as long as they hold it, they gonna get paid. They been getting paid. They gonna get paid. People on Main Street, right down here, the Oysters, they the one who hurting. They the one who gonna be. They the one who losing out. Them jokers up there with all that money holding back. They can hold it up to next year, but they gonna get a check every week. They don't care.
Well, to put a perspective on it though, too, you look, 2010 was an actual oil spill. Monies was appropriated, from, just finally starting to get down. That's 4 going into 5 years ago now. And I just don't see it coming no time soon. Now, there's going to be a meeting of the Gulf Consortium tomorrow, and I will be attending that over in Destin. And maybe we'll hear something else about when the money's going to trickle down. But for right now, I just don't see no end to it.
But you got to keep this in mind. When it comes, that other money comes down, they're pushing for barge shelling with it. They're pushing, and Dax is pushing 100% barge shelling with it.
Was it like $3 million and do barge shelling with it, and outside Texas and Louisiana people's coming in and planting them? They could have let our oystermen plant them.
But I thought we wrote a letter. Well, did we write a letter about the hand shelling and the barging, that we would prefer that they did more hand shelling?
Shannon has argued with them at the last meeting.
Hey, I've got Tommy's support. Tommy supported it. Tommy supported putting all the money in one pot and doing hand shelling. He sees what's going to happen. He don't want that to happen. Tommy shelled areas down in the miles. We can go down there and tong those areas that he shelled. Find tongfuls of shell. No oysters. I think we made 20 tong licks, tongfuls, and had 3 legal oysters off that last shell pile that he shelled down there. And the shells are there. The shells has not deteriorated. They're not gone. They're there, and there's no oysters growing on them. His lease is not doing nothing.
What do you think it really is? I mean, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, hey, all the fresh water's coming out of this river that's going down that way. I mean, we're getting lower flows. I'm starting to wonder if some of this stuff that they get these fines, these big chemical plants and stuff getting these fines is now, since the flows are so lower, it's kind of concentrated more, and it may, all this fertilizer and stuff is coming out. I mean, look, other issues have problems with fertilizer and other stuff, that's killing, killing their lakes and stuff. So, I don't know. I'm just, looking at what's happening.
Yeah, and the state won't tell you what's happening. Every time we ask them, we're still doing samples. We're doing samples.
I got guys saying takes hell's keeping the east end of our bay, alive. I don't know if that's the fact or not, but I tell you what, the east end of the bay is living. The west end's not. I mean, I argued with Dax yesterday saying that they said, Norman's Bar's been good for the last 3 years. I said, Norman's Bar, which is a summer bar, hadn't been good at all. Ain't had hardly no oyster on it. The plants has had some, had good spat, but but it muscles up real bad, and it slows the guys down to catching it up real quick. So it prolongs a little bit, but there's nothing on Norman's, and from Norman's, which is right in the middle of our the bay here in the summer area, back to the east, nothing. I mean, the jetty lumps is right here, straight from the mouth of the river. It's always been good. Both sides. One side's closed, one side's open. Nothing.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Did Senator Montford say anything to you while you were outside with him?
I didn't have much time. I was just giving him an update. He just wanted to have an update what was going on, and I heard something I was talking about the issue, the coming up stuff, and I came in. He wanted me to come on in here.
Well, if you will, please, when you set the emergency meeting date for the Seafood Workers Association, when you get that set, if you would please let Alan know so that he can let the other
make sure it's
commissioners
properly
know.
known.
As soon as this is over with, I'm going to see when the annex building is available, because y'all know what happens at some of these meetings. Guys get a little carried away,
Well, just
and
let
nothing happens.
Not a little now.
Well, I'm being nice.
well,
But the thing is, we get more accomplished here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and ask. I mean, I've had so many guys that sees me saying, Shannon, we've got to get this bay shut down. I'm like, well, what are we going to do for a living? I mean, and they're looking, we're not making a living. But then you got these guys that's living for the day, going, oh man, don't shut this bay down. The day we took, when Mr. Sutherland come down, we took him out. I had a guy hollering across there saying we need to get the 2 o'clock thing raised, and it was 10 o'clock in the evening. He was just now going out oystering.
Yeah, and I didn't know Commissioner Jackal had the power of being one place and the other at the same time, because it was stated that she was out there on the boat with Sutherland. She was sitting right here in her seat.
Wow.
It tickled me. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know it. And then, see, we was just asking his support, trying to get all the money put into hand shelling. That's why he went out in the bay, to give his support to try to accommodate and help get all this money put in one pot for the people.
Yeah.
And then we get in that afternoon and find out that he's there to shut. He has no authority to shut the bay down. That's not even where he even represents. He represents trying to get money to the industry. So.
Well,
It's just, but you got to look. A lot of people are just freaking out, don't know what to do. They really don't know what to do. They're not paying any bills. They're trying to feed their family. That's all they're trying to do right now.
See, that's our job up here is a hard one sometimes.
I know it.
And we love it, but it's hard because you see those people every day. You see they're our family, they're our friends, and you see them and you want to help them, and I mean, we, as being the highest body of government here in Franklin County, can't even help them because we can't get no answers. And so anyway, it's hard, but I want to reassure everybody we're going to try to do everything that we can to help and push it wherever we got to push it, but we got to find out what our facts are before we go out
Half-cocked.
halfway, yeah.
But,
like Commissioner
but
Massey said. This
is my way of thinking, and it may be wrong. I'm thinking if the bay gets shut down, things will get pushed a lot quicker. I may be wrong, but I feel like with the bay shut down, people hollering and screaming, some things might happen a little quicker.
Well, see, I don't work out there.
I know.
Never have. But I have the utmost respect for the people that do because it's a long-time heritage here in Franklin County. And although I may not work out there, I want to take their advice and what they do, just like Neil sitting back there. Me and him's been a little girl and a little boy together ever since we were grown up together. And what he says and what other people that work that day is what I'm going to take.
You know, like Shannon says, it's hard, you know, they're making a little bit to feed their family. You hate to shut something down there and feeding them, you know, and but you know it needs something that needs to be done.
Yeah. Neil, did you want to say something, sweetie?
Come up to the microphone.
Come on, state your name for the record, Neil. Neil Braswell.
My name is Neil Braswell. I've lived here all of my life. I've oystered, I crabbed with a crab line, I crabbed with crab pots, I've been on shrimp boats, I have gill netted, I have scalloped, I have worked in oyster houses, I have done a little bit of everything that you can do in the bay. Our bay is in bad shape because it took 50 years or more to get us into where we're at. We had a dam put in, and that hurt the river. All right? Then at St. Joe, they had the canal go into, had water from the Gulf, and that hurt our river. When they dredged the river, they hurt our river. All right? And then they come in, and Tate's Hell Swamp was important to our bay because it provided nutrition to the small organisms that lived there. And when I was a boy, there were millions of pounds of little shrimp and crab and all kind of different things in the head of the bay. The head of the bay is like a blood heart of the bay. When they kept draining the swamps out until they drained all the swamp. And there's no swamp, really. You can go up the East River. When I was a boy, you could get up the East River, you had to have waders to get off the boat. Now, you can go to East River and walk all you want to because it's dry land. We have lost the swamps in Florida. Florida was not a forest. Florida was swamp land. And it was important to the ecosystem. You can't change the environment of the oyster industry or any industry in this bay without devastating our oysters. I love the bay. My family lived on the water. My granddaddy and his daddy, we lived on the water and we loved it. My granddaddy, Jesse Cyber, he did everything out there in that water you could do. And I'm here. My heart is broke. I love the life and I loved our bay. I still love it. But it was destroyed by greed. They drained the swamps, they destroyed the river, and now we're paying the price. Thank you.